All right, college football and stuff here. It is week 11 of the college football season. I will be going over all of the group of five and independents that are playing this week. All right, jumping right into it because we got a bunch of games to cover in this video. Starting off Tuesday night, a bunch of early games. Had to jump on and try to get this video done as quickly as possible to get these games covered before they happen. Akron at Ohio. 7 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network. Ohio, a 27.5 point favorite, a bunch of points. But Akron is looking like a team that's going to struggle some this year. Did not play great last year. Got blown out last week. I'm going to take Ohio minus the 27.5 in this game. Then we have Kent State at Bowling Green, 7:30 on ESPN2. Kent State a 20.5 point favorite. I think Kent State is a decent team. Bowling Green did not look great last week. I like Kent State. This is just under 3 touchdowns. I'm going to take Kent State minus the 20.5. Miami, Ohio at Buffalo, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Buffalo a 9.5 point favorite. I don't think Miami, Ohio is a terrible team. I think they're pretty good. Buffalo is a team that's been able to score a good number of points, though. I think they're going to be a decent team. This is just under 10 points, which is a spot I like spread-wise. I am going to take Buffalo minus the 9.5. Moving on to Wednesday. Eastern Michigan at Ball State. That's 7 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network. Ball State, an 8.5 point favorite. And I am going to go against the spread here. I think Ball State is a good team. I would probably pick them, if you were just picking straight up, I would probably take them to win. I think Eastern Michigan keeps it close. I think this spread should be more like 7 points. I think anything over 7, I would take Eastern Michigan. So I'm going to take Eastern Michigan plus the 8.5 there. Toledo at Western Michigan, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Western Michigan, a 2.5 point favorite. I think that spread is right about where it needs to be. Toledo is going to be a decent team, but I also think Western Michigan will be. I really like the way Western Michigan looked last week. This is under 3 points. I'm going to take Western Michigan minus those 2.5. Central Michigan at Northern Illinois, 8 o'clock on ESPNU. Central Michigan looked really good for me last week. I picked them plus the points, and they went out and won it straight up. Really appreciate that. Again, I like Northern Illinois. I struggle on this one because of where the spread is. Central Michigan being a 7.5 point favorite. I wish this was just under a touchdown. I do think Central Michigan wins. I was very tempted to take Northern Illinois plus the points, but I'm going to take Central Michigan minus those 7.5. I may regret that. I think this will be a fairly close game. I do think Central Michigan is a better team, though. I'm taking them minus the 7.5. Moving on to Thursday night, Colorado at Boise State, 8 o'clock on the Fox Sports 1. Boise State a 13.5 point favorite. I think Boise State is a pretty good team. Of course, got blown away by BYU, but BYU has blown a lot of teams out so far this year. Wasn't super impressed with the way Colorado State played. This is just under 2 touchdowns. I do think Boise State is the better team. Give me Boise State minus those 13.5. Friday night, nice little Florida rivalry game here. FAU at FIU, 7 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network. Florida Atlantic, a 9-point favorite. And I think that is a pretty good point spread. Florida International has really not looked great. Have lost a bunch of games. Florida Atlantic has played pretty well. Have lost some games, but have looked decent. I don't think have looked terrible in any of these games. Just under 10 points. I am going to take Florida Atlantic minus those 9 points. East Carolina at Cincinnati, 7:30 on ESPN2. Of course, Cincinnati looking like a great team. They are a 27.5-point favorite. I am going to stick with my Cincinnati picks. I don't think East Carolina has anywhere near what they need to keep up with this Cincinnati team. That's a lot of points, but again, it's just under 4 scores. I really think Cincinnati is a good team. Man, I'm a little bit sad that, not really because I enjoy watching the games, but man, if the Big Ten and the Pac-12 hadn't played this year, I think Cincinnati would have had a great shot of making it to the playoffs, and it's a little bit sad for them, but I don't think that's going to happen with the Big Ten and the Pac-12 playing. But yeah, give me Cincinnati minus the 27.5. Going to Saturday, starting off Coastal Carolina at Troy, 12 o'clock on ESPNU. Coastal Carolina, an 11-point favorite. Now, I like Troy. They've kept some games pretty close, but I think Coastal Carolina is really good. This is just over 10 points. That has me slightly hesitant, but I think Coastal Carolina wins probably by 2 scores. I think something closer to a 14-point spread is where this game ends up. So I am going to take Coastal Carolina minus the 11 points. Middle Tennessee at Marshall, 12 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network. Marshall, a 23.5-point favorite. And that's a lot more reasonable than the spread was last week, where I think they were favored by 44 and they won by 40. It was a little sad they didn't quite get there, but man, Marshall, very good team, playing really good football this season. I like this spread. Middle Tennessee has played okay. Their overall win-loss doesn't really show it, but they've played decently. And I don't think they get completely blown out in this. I would like this more at 21 points-ish, but just under 24 is another good spot. 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Give me Marshall minus the 23.5 in that game. Western Carolina at Liberty, 12 o'clock on ESPN3. Liberty coming off a really good win last week, beating Virginia Tech. Came down to the wire, got that really nice last-second field goal after an extremely good game from both of those teams. Feel a little bad for Virginia Tech. Thought they had that game won. blocked a field goal and ran it back for a touchdown with no time left on the clock, but their coach had called a timeout to try to ice the kicker. Liberty comes back out, kicks the field goal, wins the game. No spread on this game. I think Liberty wins pretty easily. Western Carolina has not been playing great. Yeah, give me Liberty to win that game. Didn't see a spread. Army at Tulane, 12 o'clock on ESPN+. Tulane, a 5.5-point favorite. And although I really don't like picking against the service academies, Tulane has looked good this year. I am high on Tulane. This is under a touchdown. Give me Tulane minus those 5.5. Although I think Army is a very good team this year, and would not be surprised if Army keeps it close or even wins that game. But I'm gonna take Tulane minus the 5.5. Gardner-Webb at Charlotte. So I think that's an FCS team. I didn't actually look it up. I'm pretty sure that's an FCS team. That's 12 o'clock on ESPN3. Charlotte is another one of those teams that their win-loss record doesn't look super impressive, but actually watching the games, Charlotte has played pretty well, has played some good teams close. I think Charlotte's a decent team. Now, again, didn't see a spread on this game. Would take Charlotte to win. I think they win pretty easily, but yeah, taking them to win, but no spread. South Alabama at Louisiana Lafayette, 2 o'clock on ESPN+. Louisiana Lafayette, a 15.5-point favorite. I like South. That's just over 2 touchdowns. South looked good last week. Louisiana Lafayette, I think it was Ark State to keep it close, and they did. Louisiana Lafayette could not cover. I think this is too many points. Again, I think Louisiana Lafayette wins this game, but over 2 touchdowns I think is too much. Give me South Alabama plus the 15.5 points. Georgia State at App State, 2:30 on ESPN+. App State, a 16-point favorite. This was a tough one for me to pick because although App State has looked really good, Georgia State has been a pretty good team as well. Both Georgia State and Georgia Southern have been playing good games. This one was hard. I'm going to take App State minus the 16. I am not super confident in that pick. Again, I like Georgia State, but I think App State's playing good football. Yeah, I'm taking them, but again, I'm not confident in that pick. All right, Fresno State at Utah State, 2:30 on Fox Sports 2. Fresno State, a 10-point favorite. Utah State has not been playing very well. Fresno State has some good wins. I think that spread is a little bit too low. Give me Fresno State minus the 10. I would probably take Fresno State up to minus 14 here. Louisiana Monroe at Arkansas State, 3 o'clock on ESPN3. Arkansas State, a 20-point favorite in this game. And I think that's a little bit too much. Now, they kept it close against Louisiana Lafayette, had a chance in that game. But Louisiana Monroe is a team, now I've gone sort of back and forth on them. They've played some teams close. They've gotten blown out a couple of times, though. This is just under 3 scores, so I would definitely hear out an argument on why Arkansas State covers here. But Arkansas State, in my mind, hasn't played as well as I thought they were going to after the few early games this season. They've done okay, but they just haven't quite been up to the level that I thought they were going to be. ULM has kept some games close. I am going to take ULM plus the 20 in this game. South Florida at Houston, 3 o'clock on ESPN+. Houston, a 14-point favorite. I think that spread's right about where it should be. South Florida has done okay, not great. I'm pretty high on Houston, though. I think they've got a really good offense. I'm going to take Houston minus the 14. I could see this game ending up as a push at that spread, though. But I think Houston's the better team. Give me Houston minus the 14 points there. North Texas at UAB. 3 o'clock. Did not see a TV channel for this. I'm assuming you can find it online. UAB, a 14.5-point favorite. Would like that a lot more just under 14 instead of just over. North Texas is a team that has played people close. I was very tempted to take them plus the points in this. I think UAB wins. I think UAB is the better team. I'm going to take UAB minus the 14.5, though. It's at UAB. I really liked how they played. I think they get a decent win there. UTEP at UTSA, 3 o'clock on ESPN+. UTSA, a 6-point favorite. Have not seen UTSA favored very many times. They have played a bunch of really close games. They have a good defense, but even though UTEP is playing better than they did last year, they have not embarrassed themselves. They are still not a great team. I like UTSA. Give me UTSA minus the 6 points. Southern Miss at Western Kentucky, 3:30 on the CBS Sports Network. Western Kentucky, a 5.5-point favorite. Went back and forth on this one a little bit as well. Southern Miss is one of those teams, like a lot of those, their win-loss record doesn't really reflect how well they've played. They've kept it really close. They lost that tough game to South Alabama to start the season. They've really looked a lot better since then. Western Kentucky has not looked as good as I think I thought they were going to be. They were a pretty decent team last year. This is only a 5.5-point spread, though. If this was over a touchdown, I would almost certainly be taking Southern Miss plus the points, but at 5.5, I am going to take Western Kentucky minus those 5.5 points. Rice at Louisiana Tech, 3:30 on ESPN3. La Tech only a 1-point favorite, pretty much as close to a pick'em as you can get. 1 point is a very rare spread in a college football game. You will essentially have to have a missed extra point in order to see that. I am going to take La Tech minus the 1 there. Rice has looked okay. I would definitely hear out an argument as to why Rice wins this game, but I'm going to go with La Tech. They've played more games. I know a little bit more about them. Yeah, La Tech minus the 1. Memphis at Navy, 3:30 on ESPNU. Memphis, a 12.5-point favorite. Another instance, don't want to pick against a service academy. Memphis hasn't looked great this year. They've done okay. I definitely think they're down from where they have been these past few seasons. The spread is under 2 touchdowns, though. I am going to take Memphis minus the 12.5 in this game. Texas State at Georgia Southern, 3:30 on ESPN3. Georgia Southern, a 10.5-point favorite. I've liked Texas State. They've kept games close. Almost beat SMU to start the season. But man, Georgia Southern looked really good last week. Georgia Southern has managed to put up a bunch of points on people. I'm going to take Georgia Southern minus the 10.5. Would like that a lot more, just under 10. I could definitely see Texas State keeping this game close, but yeah, I'm going with Georgia Southern minus the 10.5. Hawaii at San Diego State, 4 o'clock. No TV on this one as well. SDSU, an 11-point favorite. Hawaii has not impressed me so far this season. Their offense has not been up to the same level as we've seen from them the past few years. I think SDSU is a pretty good team. Now, I picked them to beat San Jose State last week, and San Jose State won. I am going to take SDSU minus the 11 in this game, though. Nevada at New Mexico, 6:30 on Fox Sports 2. Nevada, a 17-point favorite. Not super high on New Mexico. I have watched some of these Nevada games, and man, their offense looks really good. They're a bunch of fun to watch. I think they're an interesting team. This is sort of an odd, sort of like no man's land for the point spread here. It's 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Would probably like that just under the 17. Could see this ending up as a push, but give me Nevada minus the 17 points. SMU at Tulsa, 7 o'clock on ESPN2, and Tulsa the favorite in this game, a 2.5-point favorite. A little surprised by that. Definitely would not have expected that before the season started, but I like Tulsa. SMU, a decent team, but I think similar to Memphis, just hasn't been playing at the same level that they were the past few seasons. You may see the spread being an overreaction to that, and I mean, spread that small, could definitely hear out an argument as to why SMU is the better team and will win that game. But I am going to take Tulsa minus the 2.5. Again, I like Tulsa a lot. Temple at UCF, 7:30 on ESPNU. UCF, a 24-point favorite, a lot of points, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Temple has looked okay. They've played some teams close when I picked them to get beaten. I think UCF is in a weird spot where they either play a super close game or they score a ton of points and blow somebody away. They haven't had anything in between, really. I am going to take UCF minus the 24. I think this is sort of a blowout game. I wanted to like Temple this season, but I think UCF, although not as good as they were, I still think is the better team and a significantly better team than Temple. Give me UCF minus the 24 points. All right, last up, UNLV at San Jose State, 10:30 on Fox Sports 2. San Jose, a 15.5-point favorite. UNLV has not played great. SJSU coming off that nice win over San Diego State. The spread is just over 2 touchdowns. That has me a little bit worried. But I do think SJSU is the much better team. I like them. Would love the spread to be just under 2 touchdowns, but I am taking SGSU minus the 15.5. All right, that's it for the group of fives and independents that are playing this week. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button. I really appreciate it. If you are enjoying these pick series, subscribe to the channel. I pick every single Power 5 and Group of 5 and Independent against the spread every week. All the FBS teams. So if you subscribe, I'll be back with more videos later this week and every week for the rest of the season. Thanks for watching. See you next time.